Morning YouTube channel peoples, and welcome to Porsche Minor Mechanics. This one's a bit of a generic one regarding LED upgrading of your headlights. Now, I made a bit of a mistake initially in the fact that this is for the Fiat Ducato. I went on to eBay and I found a complete set for the Ducato. That was the main beam, the dip beam, the day running light on the side. I bought those. They were $24.99. I think I got £5 off for some reason. And these were those said bulbs. I'll put a picture up as well, and they came with these. Now, as soon as they arrived, I knew that they were incorrect. First of all, the side light or the day running lights, they are a 5 watt, 21 watt. They dim down when the indicators come on. This is just a generic 5 watt LED like number plate light, so they were no good. In terms of the LEDs themselves, now the Ducato is H7 and they're both the same bulbs in the dip and the main. The only difference is the reflector layout inside the actual light fitting. These ones were the main beam, which was absolutely fine. They're almost the same, or they are the same in terms of the base fitting with the little locator which you line up with there. But when I come to open the supposedly high beam, that's these two here, they've got just a flat cut out there on both sides, much thinner, and basically I popped one in and it just rattled about. Now also the main beam ones come with a plug attached, which is great, plug straight into your existing wiring loom. The other ones had these two little wires on them. Now that is a replica H7, but this is a replica H1, which is basically a fog light. So the light fittings didn't work. Now in there, I contacted them and said, look, these aren't suitable, blah, 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 blah. Can I return them? And after a bit of conflab, they offered me a bit of a discount to keep them and give them to my friends or something like that, like the Chinese normally try and do. But in the end, they gave me a full refund. Now, bearing in mind, I think these were $24.99. Little Chinese set. In the meantime, I got onto YouTube and looked at some videos regarding the LEDs and found lots of good reviews for this make, which is on Amazon. Couture, we'll call it. Now, basically, these were dearer than that whole set. These were, I think, £35 just for the two H7s, but bearing in mind that both beams are the same bulb. So what I thought I would do, as I got the Chinese ones, don't get me wrong, these are Chinese as well, but as I got the first ones for free, the H1, which is a fog light, I'll just keep those in stock, maybe for a plan later on. But I thought the H7s, these I'm considering to be the lesser quality, the cheap ones I bought in the first place. So now I have, if I open these up, so much better packaged, etc, etc. You know, you get what you pay for. And also with Amazon, you know full well that if there's a problem, you can send them back. Now, and these ones got the same plugs on the back, built-in fans, as have the other ones to keep them cool, but they're just a far better, they feel better, they're more substantial. So I'm going to put these ones in as my main beam because they're going to do the most work, and then I shall fit my El Cheapos, as I'm going to call them, as my main beam, my high beam, because they won't do as much work. But yeah, if we look at the two, This is the cheap unbranded Chinese one, and this is the Couture, which is a registered trademark. Completely different. They're the same size, same length, but the build quality, this is heavier than this. This is light as a feather. You know, you wonder if there's anything in there. So anyway, we'll get those fitted. They just pop straight in. Your old ones pop straight out. I'm not going to go into detail with it because there are plenty of videos about how to change your LEDs. But rule of thumb, don't buy the cheapest ones. They're not worth it, particularly with your headlights. The other thing as well you'll find with cheap LEDs is the light scatter is poor. There might not be, the beam isn't there, it's not correct. You end up blinding other drivers if you're using cheap ones. It's better. Buy something that's just a little bit more expensive, and you'll be much happier in the long run, and they'll be reliable. You don't want your headlights failing after, like, you know, weeks or months. They should last forever, you know, 100,000 hours, whatever, 30,000 hours. But anyway, right, let's get them fitted and we'll see the difference between the old and the new. One thing I didn't mention as well is I purchased the replacements. These silly little number plate lights bulbs that they sent me for the DRLs. Now there's the right baby, and you'll see that they have two sets of wiring on them, and one is for the 5 watt and one is for the 21 watt, and they also have a reflector on the bottom, on the end, so they're a far better light. You know, when you weigh up, you know, that with that, you know, that's up against the same packet. There's a huge difference, but I'll show you the old bulb shortly. These are a tenner, by the way. Couldn't find these listed as a Ducato bulb, but if you just look on, I got these on eBay, ironically, but they are a good make, and these are a tenner for the two. Again, when you think I got 4 H7s and 2 of those for £24, and these were a tenner on their own. Don't buy the cheap ones, they're not worth it. In removing the headlight, it's very straightforward. You've got a Torx screw here that comes out of there. I think it's a 30, and then you've got this fitting here. Now, don't use the Torx on it. Get yourself a 14mm socket and use that, because what can happen with these is when you're removing them with a Torx, if they're really tight, you can end up ripping that bit of piece of metal out, and then you've got to buy a whole new fitting. So use a socket and save yourself a lot of grief, and it's a lot easier as well. The plug here, which is your wiring harness, just basically slides outwards like so and lifts off, and then the whole headlight, you just pick it up and kind of do a motion, and it pops out nice and straightforward. Now, I didn't go into the ins and outs of changing the actual bulbs because there's plenty of videos on YouTube where you can find that out. I just wanted to really point out the issues with cheap LEDs and good quality ones and show you the difference between the two. So this is the before. Just a quick tip, put a little bit of grease on that top fixing and the bottom one before you put them back, just to make it a little bit easier next time when you need to remove them. Don't over tighten them. And this is the new LEDs with the DRL, and that's just the dipped beam on there. Quite impressive. Obviously you're getting a bit of flicker, but that's just the camera. Not bad at all, quite pleased with that. And if I come out a little bit, I can just about show you the difference there between the old and the new in terms of colour. Left is old, right is new. We'll be checking them out when it gets dark. Excellent. Okay, that's about it for the LED upgrades. I think you'll agree. Hopefully the beam at night will be superb. But yeah, the old, like I say, that was the original one that the Chinese mob sent me, bless them. And that's what I took out. That's a big difference, isn't it? That's a dual filament 521 watt, which is what we've put in. And then of course I now have 4 of these H7s, which I'll keep as spares. You know, you never know. Keep a couple of those in the motor, you've always got them, and it'll also do for other applications as well. Thanks for watching, hope that helps. Don't buy cheap ones, get something decent. Take care, bye for now.